Five Nights at Freddy's is by far one of the most solidified indie games that's ever came through on the internet and has literally taken the internet by storm. There's not a single person on the internet that doesn't know what Five Nights at Freddy's is. And to be perfectly honest, I wouldn't even say it's an indie no more. I would say it's going to that point of mainstream, publicity at this point, considering the fact that they got a movie, a AAA game, many different books. At this point, I would say there is a fair amount of people that know what Five Nights at Freddy is. Even if you don't really be on the internet like that, you would probably have seen something of the sort related to that game. I'm just gonna be very honest with you. I feel like if you want to become a successful YouTuber, especially if you talk about anything gaming at all, you have to bring up Five Nights at Freddy's at some point in time. Otherwise, you ain't gonna necessarily get that success. So today is that day for us to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's in some shape and form, but not in the original way you think. As you know, there's plenty of clone games of Five Nights at Freddy that exist out there. They do get actual, pushes from the creator itself, and that's nice to see. But there is one clone game that is out there that honestly feel like its own thing, to the point where it's like, yeah, it's a clone, but at the same time, it feels different. And it's a very raunchy and lewd one. Honestly, I don't think even Freddy Fazbear himself would go to that establishment. I think William Afton will be shaking in his own damn suit right now, be worried about Jillian Afton over there. But ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about Faz Claire's Nightclub. Yes, of course we got to, because honestly, this shit looking kinda good for absolutely no reason, right? So anyway, now, this game was actually, from what I can understand, made from a studio, well, an indie studio called Fatal Fire Studio, and they are the people that end up making the whole game. Now, the person that made this model is someone called Cali 3D, or otherly go by Cryptia Curves, which, nice ass name. I like how you use them C's, because C's has curves in it, and also you have the word curves in the damn name. That's amazing. So would this technically be an artist appreciation video? I might just slap it in the playlist just because. But anyway, when it comes down to things, this game obviously has the Five Nights at Freddy's characters, as you would probably already know, but gender bent them into the opposite direction. Like Bonnie, for example, is not Bonnie, it's Bonfie. Then you have Chica, who is Chiku, Foxy, who is Fexa, and then Freddy, who is Fredina or Frenny Faz Claire. That's a lot of words. Anyway, then you also have other characters that's also in it too, like Golden Freddy, who is like obviously like Golden Frenny, if you want to say that, or Type Zero. Or you got Marinette, who is, and I love this name honestly, Marie Onnet. That's amazing. Can we just straight up say that I like the absolute models that's in this game? Like, they did a hella good job. Kali did a really good job. Can I just be perfectly honest with you? Like, these might just be my favorite models regarding anything furry related, right? They just might be my favorite models regarding anything furry related. But before we go too deep into the models, let me actually tell you what this game is, or at least the points of this game. From what I understand, apparently a night guard got fired from McDonald's, apparently, and essentially when it comes down to things, he got to find himself a new job because he was caught, I guess, jerking something off, and essentially got this job in the newspaper to be a night guard at Faz Claire's nightclub, obviously. So when it comes down to things, he has to basically dip and dodge all these damn animatronics to do his job. Or maybe he can get caught by some of those animatronics and, something special could happen. You never really know. But essentially, he has to try to keep this job so he can, do what he normally do, which is, jerk and then get paid for it, I suppose. And essentially, even when it comes to like the Christmas DLC or update that they put for the game and whatever, essentially they had a whole storyline from what I've seen in the trailer, where the dude was like, he had to get this star from Santa's workshop or something so he can be able to bang the animatronics and get paid for it with a raise, which is the most hilarious shit I think I've ever heard. But that's essentially the premise of the entire game. Now, gameplay wise, It's basically Five Nights at Freddy's, except you can move around. There's also, I think, variations of this game where you have a mode where you can sit down like traditional Five Nights at Freddy, and then just, close the door if there's an enemy coming too close to you and whatever. And that has a whole new slew of animatronics that exists within that one, which, like, that was kind of bonkers. And honestly, I need to see a little bit more of those characters too, but we'll focus mainly on the main cast today when it comes down to things. And, obviously, like I said before, if you get caught, you get smashed, which, why would I not want to get caught then? Like, I mean, I wouldn't be able to do my job, which I guess that's the main reason why you don't want to get caught, but why would I want to get caught though? But anyway, the gameplay wise of it too also has like Marionette, who essentially gives you guns and weaponry, or at least in the Christmas DLC update of the game. And essentially it's kind of dope, I'm not gonna necessarily lie. Like, you can actually go around and set your enemies on fire. Not the females, I don't think, but you can set, like, something that looks like mangled or some shit like that, and then just set them on fire, or like innards or whatever, and that's perfectly fine. Like, that actually is kind of dope, and that's a way different than what you can normally do in traditional Five Nights at Freddy's, unless you want to count Security Breach, which I guess. But anyway, let's actually talk about the models that Kali 3D ended up making. Now, when it comes down to things, FNAF has waifu characters, but not really, honestly, or at least they don't look that damn good traditionally, outside of a few like Glen Rock Chica and Roxanne. Like, that was pretty damn good. And you might want to maybe throw Vanny up there too, but she's not really an animatronic, but still, that is ass primed out there for you to see, so it is what it is. But when it comes down to things, there's not really many characters I would say that is clappable, unless you want to put Baby on the list too, but because that's like the only one that's seen good before Security Breach. But that's about it, honestly. Like, honestly, I would rather go ahead and deal with the doll from Poppy's Playtime than any of the other characters before Security Breach. And Poppy can get her ass clapped. That's no cap, honestly. Also, there's a character called Poppy that's also in this version of FNAF as well, so good on you, I guess. But anyway, let's take a look at Fredina. She looks like a Gyru character who is essentially just like, your average anime gal type of high school girl from an anime, honestly. That's what she looks like. She looks like and gives off that type of feel that, she's just there to kind of be loud and rambunctious and, just be openly lewd in some shape and form. And that's the type of girl I kind of sense from, Fredina, honestly. That's what I kind of sense from. Chiku just looked like your, I guess, childhood friend that, maybe just stay in your house because your parents ain't never around in, like, a lot of animes, and just, go to school with you and type of stuff, but also really likes you at the same time. That's what I get the sense when it comes to Chiku. And when you see Bonfi, which I'm not gonna hold you, might just be my favorite character in this version of FNAF, I'm not gonna lie, she just looks very seductive. Like, she might, I don't know what to say about her. I feel like I would say she looked like the type of person that would keep to herself but make moves on you. But at the same time, I feel like if no one is around, she'll be the type of person to make a move on you to try to get some. I feel like that's the type of character that Bonfi would be, in my personal opinion. And then you also have Fexa, who is, the pirate character. But at the same time, I feel like she'd be like the Chunabayo of the entirety of the game, honestly, or cast, really. And I just feel like she's just out there being loud and doing whatever she wants to. Kind of like, a Gyru would, but at the same time, not a Gyru, and just kind of does what she wants to do. And, just be like the tomboy of the group in some shape and form, right? Or the Chunabayo of the group in some shape and form. Now, outside of their personalities and what I think they look like, let's just talk about the looks overall of the models, honestly. Because if you were to tell me that if Scott Cawthon were to make like an official variation of Freddy in the game, but in a gender-bent Rule 63 version of them, this, I feel like, would legitimately be how they would look. Because I've seen plenty of gender-bent characters before, and they look completely different, honestly. Or they just don't necessarily hit the same way as the character should, in their own way, right? it's like it's like Kali ended up taking, what existed already, but try to improve on it and build on it in whatever way they wanted to, and just made it 10 times better, honestly, right? And it's just like, yeah, would exactly be what, Freddy would look like if they were a girl, honestly. When you leave it to fans to make stuff, honestly, and they're really fans of the product or whatever, this is the type of good stuff that you can honestly get. Fans can do some good ass work, honestly. Like and then some of those fans ends up working for, the companies that they like or the games that they even like, honestly. Even if it's a mistake on the actual official franchise's part, they will come through and just make something out of it. Kind of like how there was like a green Sonic way back in the day, and people would call that like a glitchy version of Sonic, but but what happens, that ended up turning into a character which we know as Surge from, the IDW Sonic, which is amazing, honestly. So fans can do definitely a lot of things, and also Surge is fine as hell. I don't want to hear it, shut up. But when it comes down to things, this is just a really good ass looking game. This is also like a game that I would say has really good production in it, and I will also say that these characters models are just fantastic. Like, just really nothing bad that you could potentially even say when it comes down to things, honestly. Definitely give the creator their props, and definitely give the studio their props for just putting this game together. Honestly, I hope there's more to these sets of characters, honestly, in the future. Maybe they might make another game, maybe they might do something else with these characters, who really knows. But that right there is essentially all I really wanted to bring up for this one. Again, I've seen these character models for a while now. Use one of those models for, Kakatsu, obviously. And when it comes down to things, I just really enjoy what they look like, right? Like, again, if this was the official variation of what a gender bent version of, Freddy in the game would look like, this would be it. But I'm also kind of curious on the studio, or even Kali, is they gonna make any more characters that is out there? Like, I know there's like an in Heat version of the game where you got like different furry characters like Nile and Poppy and some other characters, but are you gonna do like other, Fazbear characters, maybe some of like the sister location characters? Kind of curious on what they would honestly do if they decide to do it at all. So that's essentially all I really want to talk about for this one. Again, so hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification on your way out. Also follow me on the socials, and if you like to this channel, Patreon is available as well. And until then, it's your boy Jay, signing off. Have a blessed day.